The veil. The veil that seemingly covers your eyes, the one you think is keeping you from seeing the beloved. Look carefully, and you will realize just how beautiful the veil really is. For it is made of this love that is everything. To see beyond this veil is to realize there has never really been one. The story. Rest here and watch. See how long it takes for the story to reappear, that ancient legend that tells us this is not enough. Keep watching. Can you see it happening? Nothing is missing until the mind comes back to tell us there is. No problem until the storyteller returns to tell us something is wrong. Can you see? The whole thing is made up, the destination and the path to get there. Every story, even the one that tells you to stop telling stories, is a lie, a tale of lack where none has ever been. Why wait? Why wait for the mind to grow quieter, or the moment to be other than it is? Why wait for some feeling to arise, or for the storms of conditioning to finally be still? What if none of it were to ever happen? What if the mind just decided it would stay the way it was, forever restless and wanting? What if fear simply chose to take up permanent residence in your heart? Then what? Does anything really need to change for you to be what you have always been? Why wait for anything to change when this moment invites you in, that you might taste yourself as everything that is? Every argument. Every argument the mind can conjure up, every belief and feeling that cries out, "This could not be God," is met by the sheer force of this mystery that welcomes everything. We are forever drowning in that love. The gift of life. The self is not some villain that needs to be vanquished, but the gift of life itself, the mystery of existence, knowing itself, has a taste of you. Long before we ever tried. To meditate is to realize what has always been meditating. The vast and empty sky in which the clouds of meditating and not meditating appear and then disappear. To meditate is to realize this sky that kissed the clouds long before we ever tried to love what is. Lost. Where have I gone? Self has disappeared into itself. Everything is lost now, night vanishing into night. This dazzling darkness beholds only itself everywhere, and therefore sees nothing, even as it lights up the world. Is it true? Are you really lost, caught up in the currents of the thinking mind? Or can you feel the cool splash of water and wind upon your face as the river rushes by? Is it true? Are you really lost, stumbling along in some dark forest of worry or fear? Or is something here, something that knows just how black the night really is? Is it true? Are you really lost, wandering the shore in some hazy fog of forgetfulness? Or have you always been here, drinking in the fresh sea air and marveling at the wonder of the gray night? The dark silence. We keep searching for the light, but the luminosity we long for is not visible. It is the dark one, the root, hidden from sight, and yet always seeing. This that never sleeps. It would not be possible to point to a single moment of slumber were it not for the constancy of this wakefulness. Powerless. There is something you are not capable of keeping or removing, something that no amount of ranting, raving, pursuing, or resisting could ever cause to appear or disappear. There is something you are powerless to obtain or lose, this silent and relentless knowing of what is. Identity. Identity cannot survive without time, for in this timeless moment, before a single thought or memory appears, before mind reflects upon what was or what might be, there is no identity, is there? Identity needs the atmosphere of time to breathe. But here there is no air. Here, where time is just a dream, and you have never been. Living Dharma. Why cling to some idea or philosophy uttered thousands of years, or maybe just a moment ago? Why, when there is already this explosion of life, would we ever look back? The real Dharma lives here, breathing as this that has never been seen or heard before. This symphony of sounds and sensations right now. The rustle of leaves, a chorus of birds, the ache in my back, the rush of color everywhere. This wondrous mystery of thought, appearing then disappearing like everything else. This is the living Dharma, this timeless presence that welcomes everything that has come before, but is defined by none of it. Every teaching, every tradition, the words you are reading now, all of them gone, consumed in the fires of this living truth. Flashes of lightning. Wakefulness. It comes like a thief in the night, lifting the veil of these dying memories, revealing the truth that the past is over, that there is no need to keep looking back to notice what is already awake now. No need to return to what was once known in order to realize what is so alive now. There really is no sense looking back, is there? No sense gazing upon the previous moment's insight or realization, for it is no longer alive, but only a memory, a flash of lightning appearing, then disappearing in the empty sky. Perfect kindling. You may think I am speaking about some idealized state, but really, this is the end of all ideals. Toss them all into the fire of what is. They make perfect kindling. Rain. The rain is falling now. Grass grows wet and green, life drinking life. No reason, no purpose, no philosophy or theology, could ever touch the simplicity of this. This movement, all of this is the movement of one thing, the movement of a mystery the mind can never fathom, but always is. The movement of something we can never know, but always are. Meditate with this. Meditate with this that doesn't care whether mind is running wild like a colt or resting quietly in its stall. Meditate with this that doesn't mind if thought keeps weaving its stories or stops for a moment to listen to the emptiness it lives inside of. Meditate with this that welcomes both restlessness and stillness and knows that neither is true. Meditate with this that could never stray from what is here any more than wetness could leave water. As mind tries to keep its constant vigil, struggles to remain with breath or sound, there is something that cannot leave these things, for it is the very space that illumines them. Meditate with this. Looking out from nowhere. For a moment, look. Where are you looking from? There's nothing there, is there? Just empty space, a deep, dark, fathomless void, so clear, so silent, so vast, without form and yet so vital and alive, so awake. This is the seat of all knowing, the very center of everything, every taste, every sound, every sight and sensation. Yet there is nothing there, here in this center that is no place and everywhere. Here where the view is always clear, free from any preferences or fixed positions, even as these may appear before our empty and radiant eyes. This, the searching and the end of the search appear in this. The doubts and the unshakable certainty that I am appear in this. The contracting, the identifying, the grasping, and the release from all of them appear in this. This that knows both remembering and forgetting. Nothing personal. Are you awakening to the truth of who you are? Or is life simply seeing itself? Are you listening to the wind in the trees? Or is a mystery simply hearing itself as a rustling of autumn leaves? Are you falling asleep again, entering into the trance of separation and suffering? Or is God simply dreaming a dream, ever awake even as she appears to slumber? Could it be that none of it is actually personal, not one shred of it ours to claim, for we have made none of it, neither this that appears and then disappears, nor these eyes that behold it all. We are neither the seeing nor the not seeing, neither the dreaming nor the waking from it. There is no one to blame for the darkness of this slumber, nor anyone to take credit when the light returns. A heart without skin. This that feels so vulnerable and insecure, the very prison of sensation we've struggled so hard to free ourselves from, is none other than the mystery, life itself, life that stands forever naked and exposed, unguarded, without defense, incapable of ever closing or remaining hidden, a heart without skin. The center that is nowhere. It's cold and windy outside now, but here it is warm. Here, where there is no resistance to the movement called life, where the argument with what is has finally been dropped. It's warm here, here in the center of everything, where inside and outside simply make no sense, where there is just this experience and the next, just life, nothing else. Nobody to feel this warmth but the warmth itself. Nobody to experience this sense of being home everywhere and in everything. Silence. Be still for just a moment and let yourself be overtaken by this thunder that cannot be heard. Whether there is a raucous party raging on inside your head or all is quiet, it doesn't matter, for the great silence is always present, this awareness that makes no sound, yet is all music. You have always been this song and the silence that birthed it. Listening. Listen to the sounds of life. Trees blushing in the wind, water kissing stone, the ocean's thunder and the silent shore that greets it. These thoughts that torment you, they're just disembodied voices. Listen to them as you would the wind or the water, sounds of life that never threatened anyone. What will it take? Do we really need more proof? Another taste of joy, another glimpse of truth, another experience of this, that, or the other thing? What will it take before we finally stop and accept that it is over, that this empty cup has always been full? How many more experiences before we realize that we could never have more of what we already are? In a flash of insight, I wake to this knowing, to this that knows. It is so obvious, nothing is needed, because there is only this that I am, the substance of all things. Like a wave, it crashes over me, this simple knowing that I could never really add anything to this that is already everything. But then, like a punch-drunk boxer, I drag myself up and set out again on my search, determined to find more proof. More evidence, I cry. That is what I need, never quite believing it could be so simple. And then another wave comes, and I am slammed to the ground again, waking once more from this dream to find I had never been asleep, laughing at this folly of trying to find the very one who has been looking all along. Unemployed. How does it feel to be out of a job? Nothing you can do to improve upon this moment, or quiet what is already silent. Nothing you can do to bring yourself closer to what you already are. Nothing you can do to keep the waves of life from dancing and changing. Nothing you can do to open what has never been closed. Nothing you can do to brighten this awareness, already ablaze with the light of a million suns. Nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. No escape. There is no escaping now. no leaving this moment for some other. We are hopelessly trapped in this maze, caught in the truth that there is no dry land here. Everything is wet in this ocean. What grace to know this, to revel in the ecstasy of this sweet bondage that is our liberation. The night sky. I looked into the empty night sky, so full with stars and space, and a koan dropped into this mind. Nothing has to happen, does it? The question burst into flames as crickets sang their approval. There is only this, one timeless moment, the future a dream that will never be. This intimacy. I listen to the cricket's song at night and become the singing. No subjects or objects here, only this intimacy of one. Listening with everything, ears, eyes, body, heart, and mind. Life hearing itself. No speaking, simply being touched and touching what is. No boundaries, no defenses. Everything penetrated and penetrating this myth of separation. The knot of the self. There is no separate entity called you, no person who can take the rope of spirit and tie it into a knot. There is only spirit, only this mystery that has somehow found a way to tie itself into a knot of forgetfulness. But that's how creative spirit is. It is the rope and the knot, the tying and the unraveling. The great sadness. I sit and am overcome again by this simple remembrance that there has always been only one thing. I am that, and you are that, for there is only that, that which has no name and yet is every name. Tears explode from some secret place, the water of life emptying itself back into the sea. These rivers that flow from my eyes are somehow bittersweet, though. Tears of such love and gratitude, the sweetness of self coming home to itself. And yet, there is a perfume of sadness there, the great sadness, the only true sadness of self missing itself, this fitful dream of two, this dream that never really was. Release the prisoners. Let them go, all of them, all the thoughts and feelings you cherish and the ones you wish were never there. Let them all escape this cage, fly from this imaginary prison of body and brain. Release them from their bondage, that they might float like specks of stardust in the empty sky of your heart. Where you're looking from. For a moment, stop looking for some special, more enlightened state of consciousness, and simply rest as the free and spacious awareness from which all looking happens. The inner seat of knowing in which all experiences rise and set. For a moment, cease to look for the truth and realize the truth is the place you are looking from. I. Cast everything aside and dive into the self, farther and farther into the deepest felt sense of who and what you are. Not I am this or I am that. Simply I. It is so easy, this falling back into the self, this resting as the boundless mystery of I. The wave knows. Everything, body, mind, thoughts, words, everything is itself, being what it has always been. But body is not really body, and mind not truly mind. They are that same spark that gave birth to everything. This hand that has never really closed, no matter how many times it may have tried to wrap its fingers around some promise of fulfillment. This chasing of mirages in a desert already wet with life. Can you taste it, this mystery that has always known itself? Can you feel it, these cells drinking in the nectar of what they have always been? Wake up, you are the beloved, feasting on itself, the wave remembering it has always been water. No cheating allowed. I want you to tell me who you are, but there's one rule. You can't go to the mind to find the answer. So tell me, who are you? Remember, no cheating allowed. Not knowing. We don't really know what this is or who we are until we start telling ourselves stories. Who is it that is making up these tales anyway? This perfect paradox. I woke up one morning and found myself struggling, trying to climb back into heaven, wanting to return again to that place of clarity and stillness, grasping for something, some strategy that would finally bring all the grasping to an end. Like a crazed dope fiend, there I was looking again for another hit, trying to turn the moment into anything but what it was. But then it hit me again, this folly of trying to make water wet, this joke of wishing what had never left would somehow return. Funny, isn't it? We struggle to kill off this I, only to find that we're still there, bloody knife in hand, left with this perfect paradox, this I that isn't real and yet cannot be extinguished. This steady light, floods of ecstasy, torrents of grief. No amount of water ever put this fire out, this steady blaze of wakefulness that I am. You're great, you're worthless, you're brilliant, you're foolish. No thought wind ever made the flame of this candle flicker, this steady light that keeps burning me awake. Being touched. I sit in silence, listening to the birds. There is an aching beauty in their song, a beauty that touches me so deeply, a beauty that touches the one who sits inside it all, just listening. Where is the dividing line between that which touches and the one who is touched? Can we dwell in that mysterious place where the two meet one another, where the subject meets the object, where that which is outside touches that which is inside, where the one that sings becomes the one that listens? What if we let all of life touch us in this way? Maybe this is the intimacy our souls yearn for. Here. What is this? This that is being felt right here, experienced here, in the place you call you, a place that is neither inside nor out, but the center of everything, a tiny point of life that is all life, this here that is God and me, everything, one taste, a fragrance that has always been known. Mind swallowed. All is quiet now, the sun of certainty is set. Only night remains, the dark and haunting silence that swallows mind, and with it what we call the world. Wordlessly alive. This moment appearing, then disappearing, is it ever really here long enough to be called something? Or is there only ever this shimmering river of sensation that flows without ceasing, never stopping, never freezing, never holding still long enough to be named? Wordlessly alive, beyond all possibility of ever being known, yet brightly knowing. Abandon yourself. Abandon yourself to worry, and you will discover what has never known fear. Surrender yourself to insecurity, and you will find what has always been safe. Give yourself over to bondage, and you will find what has always been liberated. Disappear into contraction, and you will see what has never been closed. Submit yourself to separation, and you will find what has remained forever undivided. Come rest. Come rest here in this thought, this feeling, this moment of great sorrow or joy. Come rest here in the sounds of the children laughing and the anguished cries of those who imagine they have lost their way. Come rest here in the cradle of a warm summer night and the blistering cold of a winter's dawn. Come rest in this, for there is nowhere else to rest. Everything whispers this. When the heart looks, the eyes no longer see difference or distinction. Beauty has disappeared, and now there is only beauty. A wind howling through the trees, the dust that decorates my windowsill, the temple bells ringing, the silly little thought clouds dancing through the vast and empty sky. It has all become the same, one breath, breathing all things. Everything these eyes fall upon, whispering, "Here I am." The force of this love. All the strategies we engage in to either resist or accept what is, they are like throwing feathers into a raging wind. We are simply no match for the force of this love. Relax body and mind. Relax body and mind completely. There is nothing to find. Relax body and mind completely. There is nothing that binds. Relax body and mind completely. There is nothing to know. Relax body and mind completely. There is nothing to grasp hold of or let go. Relax body and mind completely. There is no need to strive. Relax body and mind completely. There is no place to arrive. Relax body and mind completely. There is nothing to defend. Relax body and mind completely. There is nothing to overcome or transcend. A wind born of air. Like a breeze blowing through the empty sky, we have never been apart from that which gave us birth. A wind born of air.